Mom podcast, and today I'm here with Daniel Roebuck, who horror fans may know from River's Edge, Bubba Hotep, Final Destination, a plethora of Rob Zombie films, including his most recent role as Grandpa Munster in Rob Zombie's The Munsters.
Yeah.
Hi, Dan.
Hello. Is this horror fan or horror fam?
Fam, like family.
And we're kind of like family.
Yeah, you're basically my uncle or something.
When I saw that you were doing this podcast, your watchers should know. I was like, I want to be on your podcast because I've literally known Lauren since she was a little girl. Your mom and dad are two dear friends, two extraordinary talented people, Rob and Kathy Tharp, and you used to watch my kids.
Oh yeah.
I thought you were the same age, but it turns out you're a little older.
Oh yeah, I was basically the nanny for your kids.
What that means is we'd have a party and she'd get stuck with them. But I remember you all doing a band with Eva Wilhelm's kid. I remember you guys made a band one year. Anyway,
oh, yeah.
So I'm so proud of you and watching you grow up and looking at your art. And you've got this guy. You didn't run it by me first, but other than that, he seems okay. I'm so happy to be talking to you, and I'm just so proud of you.
It's so nice to see you again. We had been separated from the pandemic and everything, and
what pandemic?
Yeah, and then I told Darcy from the last drive-in. She was on episode 6. I told her that I knew you and that. As soon as all this is over and I see Dan, I'll tell him hi for you.
That's nice.
And I did. I passed on that.
You did. You were very good.
You can vouch for me.
Hello, Darcy, if you're watching. But if you're anything like me, you only watch the episodes you're on. Maybe someone will tell you. But here we are. So, and we're in kind of my monster room as it is.
Yeah.
We're on location in front of my Munster collection.
Yes.
I'm not the biggest Munster collector. There's other Munster collectors out there. Mark Doyle, Jay Lawrence, Bob Morris, so many others. I'm really low on the scale. But we had an interesting thing, from a collector standpoint. So Laura and I have known, we've known a lot of people who passed away over the last few years.
Yeah. Big
collectors of masks.
Oh, yeah.
Our little group that had only 12 people, and I think 4 are already gone. But the Munsters community lost its 2 biggest collectors within a month. Kevin Burns, who was a dear friend, and Tony Greco, who was also a friend, died within weeks of each other. So that's kind of hard. Anyway, they had they had the end of Citizen Kane, Munsters, the Raiders of the Lost Ark. I have just a couple bookcases, but. Will soon be a toy myself. But let's talk about stuff. Like, I'm talking too much. Ask me questions.
Well, you just said that you're soon to be a toy yourself.
Oh, did I mention that?
Yes.
I feel so bad about that. Anyway, it's only funny. So, there's 2 kinds of toys, right? There's licensed toys, and then there's fan-made toys.
Uh-huh.
And fan-made toys are good, because I think they keep the IP, the intellectual property going.
Yeah.
And this great guy, Brent's dolls, here's a fun, doll of Cousin Lester. He only appeared for about 12 seconds on a Munsters episode, but it was great. So Brent does these toys.
Oh, I was just remembering when you were playing the Wolfman with one of your Dr. Shocker
Oh, yeah,
shows.
we did.
Yeah.
It was John Cody played the Wolfman, didn't he?
Yeah.
John Cody Fasano, our friend.
Yeah. I also wanted to talk to you about your Dr. Shocker live shows. But first, continue on with
it's just boring anyway. So Brent, he makes here's a Zombo doll out of the box. Don't break anything. Here's Zombo. So I'm a big fan of this kind of thing, like a fan-made toy. And then, the fellow who's a fan said, can I make a toy of you? So there's a fan-made count. Very rare and limited because, you're not allowed to make a lot of them. But it is fun that it exists and fun that I'm a toy because I spent my life collecting toys,
Oh, me too.
Yeah, you too. You've got a big collection.
When we're doing this, especially if it's just me talking, then I have my Monster High
Oh,
toy
all the
collection in
toys
the
behind you.
background,
That's right. Yeah, so, I mean, that's kind of fun, isn't it? To be a fan of all this stuff and then actually be something someone else could collect.
Yeah.
It's neat.
It is neat. And is there anything that you can tell us about the Munsters without getting into trouble? Like,
Well,
I don't want to get you into trouble.
I'm sure Mr. Zombie has spies everywhere. Who's that guy?
That's my husband.
Are you sure he's okay?
Not a spy.
He's okay. He's got his Dracula shirt on.
Oh, well, then, because can we say that today, the day we're filming this, is National Dracula Day?
Yep.
And, it's interesting because I have played Count Dracula before, but really officially I'm Count Dracula in a Universal Studios movie because Grandpa Munster is Sam Dracula. He's Count Dracula. They say it a number of times in the show. So what can I tell you? I can tell you it's going to be fun. It is common knowledge now that it's rated PG, fun family movie. I can tell you that there's not a better human being on the planet to direct the movie than Rob Zombie. And I'm not
He's very nice.
He's very nice, isn't he?
I met him one time, but I didn't realize that I was talking to him.
So were we at a show or at a...
He popped over like one of your parties and he was just eating vegetable lasagna and I was talking to him. I'm like, what's your name? He's like, Robert. And I'm like, oh, what do you do? He's like, I'm a musician.
Oh, how funny.
And then like after people were coming, I'm like, you just spent the last 20 minutes talking to Rob Zombie. I'm like, I did? Robert the musician was Rob Zombie.
That's so funny.
He was so nice though.
He is, well, he's such a good guy.
I was very, I was much younger.
You were younger, yeah. When I met him the first time, famously, I was with John Gilbert, Arizona Gillman, and we were at Kid Craft. Remember that great store?
Mm-hmm.
And we go in to look at monster models, and this man comes in, and John Gilbert goes, "Mr. Zombie, what a pleasure to meet you." And I said, "What the heck did you just call this guy?" He goes, "This is Rob Zombie." Well, isn't that funny? Because and as it was, we're going to tell this story here first. I haven't told it anywhere.
Oh,
but you're getting a
horrorfan.com exclusive.
This is for you. It's ironic that the day that I met Rob Zombie, John Gilbert had made an Uncle Gilbert garage kit that I have right around the corner here.
The creature.
Yeah,
from
we're
the
wearing
Munsters.
the hat. Yeah, and he had made this garage kit, and then on that day, I think he beat poor Rob Zombie out of $60 to buy one on the spot because John he was going to sell them at Kit Craft. Yeah. Well, when it came time to Rob's recently announced that Uncle Gilbert's in the movie.
Oh wow!
Yeah, people might have seen that video. And
I had heard that, but I wasn't sure if that was like confirmed official news.
Yeah, Rob put it out. Yeah, so if he says so, it's so. But John Gilbert, ironically, was a huge help in helping us make sure that character got in the movie. Because when we were there, we realized we needed a mask. So John reached into his own collection and pulled out a mask Creature Kid made when he was 14 or 15 years old.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
The same Creature Kid that you're working with for... Yeah. Oh my gosh, it all connects.
Well, we have a saying, and I don't know that everybody agrees with me, but the saying is God is good. And God makes sure things are as they should be. And so... we couldn't have had Uncle Gilbert.
It takes a while. But
yeah,
I agree.
It takes a while. Well, for him, not really. For you and me, it takes a while. But for him, it was like,
yeah.
Oh, I said I would do that yesterday. I'm 80. But anyway, like without John Gilbert, it would have been hard to get the creature in the movie because John had to take his mask and ship it to us in Budapest, Hungary, immediately, and it was the mask that Creature Kid sculpted. Oh, wow. So I'm very proud of. Those guys they're part of the Munsters too.
And what is it? You've been a fan of the Munsters for a long time, and when they said that they were making a Munsters movie, I kind of this was like June of 2020. I tweeted out, oh, Dan Roebuck's gonna be in it.
Oh, isn't that funny? Oh, you were right.
I called it long ago.
That's so interesting. How interesting.
And then it was announced. I'm like, yes.
Well, maybe that was good spirits you put out. So Rob, I know exactly the day he asked me to be in the movie because it was the day my friend Steve Christopher got married, and the day before, and Steve Christopher had the audacity to marry a perfect woman, too good for him, if he's watching this, Dorinda, to marry her on the 50th anniversary of the moon landing. And I don't know what kind of people it is that try to usurp that great day, but we were driving to their wedding when Rob called and asked, he said, I'm making the Munsters. And I was like, And he goes, oh, what do you mean? And I'm like, I'm ready for, I want you to be Cousin Lester. He's in one scene. But in fact, he asked me to be Grandpa. And it was ironic because Tammy was wearing a Morticia, Lily Munster shirt. I don't know why I said Morticia. So weird. I'm actually looking. I'm going to get you something. It's funny about how things are. I don't know if you could see this. I'm going to hold this up here. This is, do you want to see it too?
Yeah, I'd like to see it too. I was going to ask
It's
Frank.
on there. I can see it.
It's on there? You can see it? Okay.
So that's a Polaroid. I auditioned for the role of Herman.
Yes, way back
in a Munsters TV movie.
From, like, when I was, small.
A small kid.
Yeah.
And I didn't get cast, and I look back now and think, thank God, I didn't get cast. And not because that wasn't a good movie; they did okay. Sam McMurray played Herman, but I think it would not have put me in the place to be, because this movie is going to be. It's going to be the Munsters movie, and I love every iteration of the Munsters, as many Munsters people do. I love Munsters Today with John Schuck, and I was on the set here, you can see behind you, of one of the Munsters movies where Edward Herman played Herman. That's me and Bob Burns were on the set. You got to know Bob Burns and I were driving down, and I turn to Bob, and I go, Bob, what is the entire point of this excursion? And he goes, to get a picture with Herman Munster. Exactly. Like, it's good that we were all on the same. We knew no matter what, we are not leaving until we have a picture with Herman Munster. So that's how that picture. And then I worked with Edward Herman after. And Sam McMurray I've worked with. I've actually worked with many of the Hermans. John Schuck, I was almost in a project with. I got to put that on my bucket list. So so I can say I've worked with every Herman.
That would be funny.
Yeah. So I'm a little off topic, but there's been many iterations of the Munsters. This iteration is going to be the one, because it's Rob, that has the greatest opportunity to be the most faithful to the original series.
He's a huge fan too.
He's a huge fan.
Yeah.
And it's not to say the other, like Robert McGinty, I think, directed the one when I was on that set, and I don't know that he was any big Munsters fan. I think sometimes it just goes to whoever's going to direct it is going to direct it. But Rob Zombie's been thinking about this for well under 20 years. So his Munsters isn't like something that a studio threw together. It's an artist's vision of how to approach a story that's been approached many times.
That's something that you and I discussed just when we were visiting.
Yeah.
That people are saying, like, this is gonna suck and everything, but you're talking about how there's been many iterations of the Munsters, and I think you come at it from a little bit of a different angle because you also do plays, and you're used to playing characters that have been played again and again and again, and if people were like, this is gonna suck, you wouldn't have played Ebenezer Scrooge in the Christmas Carol, like.
That's smart. Did I say that or did you say that?
Well, I said it and you agreed with me.
Oh yeah. So I know it was too smart for me to have said it, but yeah, like when you're playing Felix Unger or Oscar Madison, it hasn't been played twice before. It's been played 300,000 times, maybe 1 million times in many different languages. Mm-hmm. The other movies that did not feature the main cast, so everything after Munster's Revenge, were low-budget affairs, cheapy movies. They weren't, respectfully, the scripts weren't, they were what they had to be. A quick Munster. Somebody had the rights to the Munsters. They were like, we're going to put the Munsters out. This movie, it's been hard that people have been so negative, Lauren.
Yeah.
They
should be nicer to you.
Yes. But they should be nicer to Sherry Zombie and to Jeff Daniel Phillips.
Oh yeah.
I just don't understand. It's like
so
people
mean.
say, this isn't,
It's like, these are real people. Come on.
Yeah, right,
Be
yeah.
nice.
Hey, number one, be nice, right? Be a gracious person. But, beyond that, like, they complain that Rob cast Sherry in all his movies. Well, so did Woody Allen. Nobody complained about that. He cast Mia Farrow in every movie he made for 20 years. Look, you work with people you want to work with. Maybe that's why I think I'm a great choice, but maybe that's why I was the first choice. Because, Rob's worked with me a lot. He knows I don't ever complain. I love it.
Yeah, this is like, what, your 6th or 7th?
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember because he cuts me out sometimes. But I don't resent it. I don't hold it against it.
You're in House of 1,000 Corpses, Devil's Reject.
No, House was the one I wasn't in.
You're right.
Yeah, I was.
That was one of them.
I re-met him
but you were in Devil's Rejects and 3 from Hell and Halloween 1 and 2.
Lords of Salem I shot in, but I didn't end up in.
Yeah. That's
probably the. And he cut me mostly out of the first Halloween, but I didn't mind because I had such a great part in the second Halloween. But I don't look. I've been doing this a long time, and I make movies, and I gotta cut other people out of the movies. First person I start cutting out of a movie is me. Honestly, like that's the first place I start trimming is my own performance if I directed it. So I don't care that Rob Zombie cuts me out of movies. I was a little concerned when I heard that he made a monetary deal with my father to have me cut out of our home movies. I thought that was a little much. But my father said that he'll give me the trim, so I'll have it. That didn't really happen. Well, it really happened, but I don't think my dad got any money for it. So anyway, I think the Munsters is going to be a howling good time, and I think people are going to love because, Rob Zombie only made Halloween 2 a horror movie with blood and guts because it was based on a horror movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. With
blood and guts. Rob Zombie could make a movie called Swan Lake about people dancing ballet, and it would be Swan Lake about people dancing ballet. Yeah. Wouldn't be the Swan Lake where they kill each other, which I think they've already done.
Yeah.
Didn't they, Black Swan? So, anyway, I think he's a very good artist, and I think I'm blessed and honored to be by his side.
Well, that's good.
Thank you.
Wow.
Wow, I talked too much. He has no questions.
Well, I did have questions, and then I just got so wrapped up in the stories that I forgot them.
Well, let me ask you questions.
Sure.
Okay. So when did you start this podcast?
Well, we started horrorfam.com on October 1st, 2019, and then the podcast came around in February 2020, and it was going pretty well for a while, but one of the reasons it was audio only was because I was having really bad health issues. Oh. And so I couldn't be like, like on camera.
Yeah, we're having a good time here talking about Harvard.
Yeah, it's like I was having all kinds of problems, but then in July of 2021, I had 5 organs removed, and now I'm better, and now we're doing a video. And that came
Don't we only have 7? So what do they leave you with, a heart and a brain?
Pretty much.
Interesting.
No, I had to get all my lady organs.
Oh yeah. Those lady organs.
They're so troublesome.
They're so troublesome.
All getting all mutated. Full of tumors and stuff.
Oh gosh. Well, I'm glad you're better now.
Yeah, me too. It's really nice to not be in physical pain.
Yeah. You're a nice person.
And now I can be on camera, which is better for me too, because I depend on lip reading a lot. Because my hearing is a little funky.
Oh, I didn't know. See, all the things I didn't know about her. But you're such a beautiful young lady, and there is this guy, Frank, who's her husband. Sorry, fellas. But anyway, I didn't get to meet him before we would have had. There's a whole form that I would have given him to fill out, blood tests, dexterity tests, and I would have tested him on the important thing.
Born in Pennsylvania.
All right, born in Pennsylvania, we like that. But I would have to know that someone worthy of you knows in what order the Frankenstein monster was played by which actor.
Oh, he does.
He's off camera. But let's hear it. I'm going to tell him, this is your test. Who played Frankenstein, the Universal Frankensteins? Who was the first one?
Yeah, you put me on the spot.
Oh, he's on the spot.
He's turning red.
I'll start it for you. Boris Karloff.
He knows that.
I do know.
Who was next? This is very disappointing.
I know, I'm disappointed.
All right, your people, they'll write in. They'll write in below, right? Do they get to...
No, he knows it.
I do know it, I'm just...
He's nervous. Never.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I asked.
Don't be sorry.
This is why we give people a test, to make sure.
He knows.
So, all right. No, but let's stop putting him on the spot. When you're ready to say them in order, just raise your hand, and then we'll bring you into this conversation. But do you want to talk about, like, I worked with Don Coscarelli a lot?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so I worked with Don Coscarelli a lot. You're an excellent interviewer, Laura. I worked with Don Coscarelli a lot. So here's something that's fun. So look at this ridiculous house I live in this room. And you can't see, but there's life-size Planet of the Apes figures all around us as well. People could go to, DanielRoebuck.com, and on the bottom, there's a link that says House of Horror, and in that they can go to that link and they can see what the collection looked like at that point back about 10, 12 years ago. But we're talking about, so this is what I was saying. So imagine I'm a kid, I go to the Boyd Theater and I watch Michael Myers, kill people. And then, 40 years later, Michael Myers is killing me in a movie. Crazy. I go see Phantasm. I love Phantasm. Don Coscarelli's such a talented guy. And these people are going, they're being drilled by that sphere. And then one day I'm on a set and I'm being killed by the sphere, in a Phantasm movie. And I want it to be like the best sphere death ever recorded. I was like, Don, where do you want me to put the blood? He goes, on that wall. I was like, you got it. So that I was like, oh, and I wrote my name. If you watch my Dan Roebuck, I write my name as the blood spurting out of my neck. So that was fun. And, you watch the Munsters and you're in the Munsters. I love The Odd Couple. I play Gary Marshall in a movie. I mean, life is good. And my career has given me great opportunity, not only to work with Fred Gwynn in a movie, meet Al Lewis, let's say, just from a Munsters perspective. But I grew up loving Don Post masks. And then I meet your parents, and they're the people who made them.
Yes.
They made them. So it's not just like meeting, I'm meeting the guy who, hey, Rob, he's a guest on the show. I'm going to play him in a movie. That was my impression of your dad. Did you look anything like your dad? Yeah. He mostly yells at you, doesn't he?
No.
He yells at you.
No.
He's a bad person.
No.
No, he's the nicest. He's literally the nicest man in the world. If ever I did something wrong and they said, do you have anybody who could vouch for you? I'd be like, please call Rob. Or he'll say something nice about me. So that's neat too. I collect stuff and then I meet the people who make the stuff that I love.
It's very cool.
Yeah. You grew up in it. It's for you.
Oh yeah.
It's not meeting Rob.
Born into it.
Meeting Rob and Kathy Tharp was probably not the joy for you that it was for the rest of us. But one day I'll introduce you to my mom and dad, and then you'll know how we feel.
Oh, okay.
So what else can I tell you?
Well, you mentioned growing up immersed in this, and you briefly mentioned Creature Kid earlier, who you talked about as a monster kid before.
Well, Creature Kid he's technically, I don't know if he even is a monster kid because he was a child. He wasn't even born. Monster kids are normally, 55 to 65-year-old men stuck in their adolescent time frame, trying to live what it was like to be 13 or 14. Creature Kid is a miracle because he was actually making monsters at 13 and 14, but he's still a kid.
Yeah, he did sculptures for the It 2017 and I'm trying to think, Predator.
Oh yeah, he worked over at
And-
ADI.
There was something else that he did recently, and I can't think of what it was.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm blanking.
That's all right. Well, we'll look him up. Look up Adam Dougherty. So he came to us again through John Gilbert. John Gilbert calls me up one day and goes, dude, I just bought this mask on eBay. This is like the greatest creature mask I ever made. So I wrote the guy to tell him that. And he writes me back that he's 14 or 15 years old. And, you know, it was like we knew we found this wunderkind sculptor. And so John mentored him a bit. And then John will admit it got to a point where the kid knew, like, the kid's talents were moving faster. I've had this experience when I work with young actors, and then, you know, I'm immediately recognize that they're way beyond where I was at their age as a intuitive performer. So Adam's gone on, you know, he sculpted the Elvira kit for Mobius. He sculpted the Creature kit for Mobius. He sculpted his own line of monster models. And then he started working for the studios, for ADI, and I'm sure sculpting for others. And now he's got his own studio. They just did their first movie, Onyx the Fortuitous, I think it's called, or it'll be corrected if I'm wrong. But and now he's got, if you get this up in the next few days, he's got a Kickstarter for a movie called The Jungle of Darkness, a short film, which I will be in because he is part of my family. So I'm so excited to work with him and be directed by him.
I saw the trailers with you in the pith helmet.
Okay. they're very silly. I had to travel and start working on something else. So I mean, I this is the genius of living in Burbank. I literally went to one of these shops up on Magnolia, and I found, like, I was like, where am I going to find a tan, like, 1947 jacket? And I walked in there, and there they had one. I mean, it was unbelievable.
Like at a thrift store?
Yeah. Shame on me for not knowing the exact name, but if people come to Burbank, and, you know, Magnolia has all these wonderful shops like Halloween Town, and we should credit, if you could see it, you know, Wayne Toth, who's one of the owners of Halloween Town, was the guy who designed all the makeup on the Munsters movie.
Oh, okay.
Great guy. But there's Halloween Town, and there's many different stores there, and we just walk in and out of them, and isn't that terrible? You don't know the name of them, but
yeah. Well, there's a lot of great shops on Magnolia. There's the Mystic Museum and Dark Delicacies, and it's a fun
it
street.
goes on and on. People, like, it's interesting
Blast
that
from the
here in Burbank, Blast from the Past is great.
Yeah.
In Burbank here, we have, like, this great, it's right up the street from, you know, this palatial estate. Hold on, I've got to, please put the horses back in the stable. Thank you. Oh gosh, it's so tiring. I mean, we have horses and elephants, and I mean, it's just amazing to have this huge piece of land here in Burbank. But you know, that's what we do. Hold on, I'm sorry. Put my race cars back in the garage. I don't have time to race them around the property today. Thank you, Hans. Anyway, it just gets so busy here. Where's the furthest person who watches the podcast? Where do they live? Have you checked?
Germany.
Ach, du Lieber. Wie geht's? Ich bin Danny.
We have it's mostly Americans and Canadians, and then we have a few people in Germany, and I don't know. There's probably people from all over, but those are the ones who have actually, like, hey, hello.
Say hi, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you're watching this from somewhere else other than those countries, make sure that they know that you're watching and that how wide is their reach. I love Canada. No offense to anyone watching this, I've generally been to more places in Canada than most Canadians I meet. You know, except for someone running from the law.
You've been, like, so many places, like, even with the Munsters, you were just in Budapest, right?
Budapest, off and on, and Yeah, I got to go to Romania. Speaking of, National Dracula Day, I've been to Castle Dracula, Bran Castle. I've shot in Yugoslavia, in England. Shot a lot of places in Canada, from one end to the other. Halifax, Nova Scotia to Victoria Island. And in America, I've been all over America and worked in all the major cities. I mean, it's just, look, I'm a very blessed and lucky person. I came from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and I just followed this dream. I just felt that I should be on TV.
Yeah, you were right.
And I was right. And it doesn't, that kind of thing isn't always about ego. Sometimes it's about God's revelation to you of what you could accomplish given opportunity.
One of the most fun things, like when I was, growing up and going places with you, is that no matter where we went, people knew you, and they were always happy to see you, but they all knew you from something different. Like, it'd be like, oh, you were the guy in Quince, you're Cody Banks' dad, you're the guy from Dead Rising 3, just like everyone knows you from something, but it's always something different. Like, oh, Star Wars, right? Like Jay Leno, right? Like, yeah.
That's
like,
so funny.
You're all correct.
You're all right. And it is interesting. I mean, there was an actor named William Wyndham when I was a kid who I thought, well, if I could just be like that. Because I never said I want to be a movie star. I never had that mendacity.
Yeah.
I wanted to be on TV. And I was a ventriloquist. I was a clown. I was a stand-up comedy. I did impersonations. So I didn't really know how I was going to do it till I saw Give 'Em Hell Harry when I was 13 years old. It was James Whitmore doing a one-man play that they filmed and put in movie theaters. And that's when I decided I wanted to be an actor.
Yeah, I think like when you first came out to California, you were like, I'm Daniel Roebuck, I'm an actor.
That's what Evil Wilhelm says that I said. He's full of do-do. I'm sure that he said, you look familiar, and I said, well, I'm an actor. That's probably what happened. But we're talking.
You setting the story straight.
Yeah, for once and for all, if you're watching this, Evil Wilhelm, who's not really here, let me really blow your cover. He's not evil at all.
He's really nice.
Yeah, when someone's like Evil Wilhelm, you're like, Hitler. No, he's not. He's the nicest guy. Funny, good American, not really evil, but I'm sure you said, why do you look familiar? And I said, because I'm an actor. Probably.
Now we'll have to have him on. And then
I want. Point counterpoint. Yeah, he can tell his story, but just keep an eye on his nose because it's going to grow like Pinocchio when he's telling the story. Evil Wilhelm was the first guy I ever met who was not a Bond villain who had a minion. I don't know. He had this minion named Paul that he would send around at these toy collector shows, and Paul would have a rope that said, buying monster models, and then he would bring the models back to Evil Wilhelm. So I thought, I got to get a minion. That's really great. Smart thinking. They're a lot harder to find than you would think, because they want food and benefits. So then I just got, I went the Pulp Fiction route and got a GIMP. So I keep, hold on, be quiet! Be quiet! So the GIMP, you're not coming out. You're not coming out. He's such a pain. He doesn't even understand the whole thing about, you're supposed to be mute! Idiot.
Oh.
I think we need to leave.
Deleted scenes.
Yeah. What else should we talk? How about Star Wars?
Sure.
You like Star Wars, right?
Yeah. But this is horror fam, so we might want to stick to horror things.
Oh, you think these people wouldn't want to just know that I'm in Jedi Fallen Order? They don't. Yeah, they don't.
I'm sure probably some.
Three of them do. Can the three of you who are excited that I'm Greased Dreadits in Jedi Fallen Order, please can they do comments?
Yes.
Put comments down there that you're excited, and if you're not excited, keep it to yourself. So yeah. Yes.
You were in, like I mentioned earlier, you're in Dead Rising 3 and.
But they're I guess that's a horror film, so we can talk.
Well,
about
it's a horror game.
All right. I am. I'm Gary in Dead Rising 3. I had so much fun doing that.
Yeah, you've been in several video games at
Yeah,
this
L.A.
point.
Noire. Am I
Yeah.
allowed to mention them at least?
Oh, yes, of course.
Thank you. L.A. Noire, Dead Rising 3, Jedi Fallen Order. Maybe there's more in the future. Well, that's not, I mean, they have officially announced that there's a Jedi Fallen Order sequel.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'm in it. I just said that in case someone was watching from Lucas. They're like, is he in it? I don't know. Hey, I got to pay for, hold on, the circus. Hello, everybody, the trapeze artists. Okay, just wait for me. I have so much land here, we have a circus.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we have a circus. And the fair's coming in later. I'm going to have the fair, the rides. The neighbors love the rides. I just love it. You know. Yeah, so that was a fun game to be in. I was glad. Again, very lucky. I didn't know anything about Dead Rising 1 or 2, but then Dead Rising 3 people really felt was a real step up game-wise.
It's true. I think the third one was.
Oh, it was.
I played them all. Yeah, the third one was a big step up from the first two.
Yeah, well, I think one of the great things is that technology is changing so drastically. It's funny, you know, how we did L.A. Noire. We filmed our bodies, and then we filmed the head separately. But that may have had something to do with it. Had to have that intuitive. They would then you would just say, "Wait, stop! Don't shoot! Don't shoot!" But when you watch the game, you see me go, "Wait, stop! Don't shoot! Don't shoot!" And they turn your head the way your body turned. I don't know how the heck they did it. But then, of course, in the next game, we had the dots all over. And now they don't even use dots anymore.
Really?
Yeah, they use, you know, they capture you in the space. But the computers are so intuitive now they can see your face. Yeah, interesting. And I like working in that space. I think I'm good at those kinds of characters, but there is something very freeing about there being so many cameras that you're not going to block the other actor. You know? And how they did, like, you know, when we did Jedi Fallen Order, how when I walked on the set, my form was 4 foot tall, and, you know, their form was 6 foot tall. I spent a lot of time, you know, when I talked to them, I wouldn't look in their eyes, I'd look at the rafters, so that it looked like we were talking to each other, and they put two pieces of tape on my belly. That was, I remember one day, someone was, and I was screwing around. I go, "It's only funny until somebody loses an eye." And I threw the eye. It was funny. See, it's still funny, and you weren't even there.
It is.
Yeah, so video games are great. Look, I hope people love the Munsters, because I would love for there to revisit Grandpa in a different scenario.
Do you think, like, I know that you're not allowed to talk about the plot, and I don't want to get you in trouble, but do you think this, I don't even know if this is a question that would get you in trouble. If it is, don't answer.
Well, the question won't get me in trouble. You know, maybe the death squads will come after you, but it won't get me.
Well, if it's something that would get you in trouble, you may decline to answer, but
Okay.
Would this serve as a good pilot for, like, a potential, like, new TV series?
Well, it's not a bad question. I would say that the Rob's take is so smart on this that I would say the same of any of the other TV movies. Could they have been spun off? But this isn't a TV movie. This is a movie. Yeah. So the answer is, how about I hope so.
Okay. Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. It was
or at least like a sequel, like when they did the Addams Family movies back in the 90s.
Yeah, they did the other one.
Which, you know, people complained about that at the time too, but now they're so beloved, and even the people who aren't so fond of those movies, like, it helped to reignite the interest in the old show, and then, you know, getting fans of just the Addams Family as a property in general.
Right.
And I think that even if for whatever reason people don't like this, I hope they do, and I think they will, it'll reignite interest in the property as a whole, and I think anything that does that is good.
It's axiomatic. Look, that is what I would say I made a comment the other day about let's say people who are haters. This isn't my Munsters. So you're an only child, but I have two, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Kelly and I made a kid, Grace Roebuck. She has our DNA. And then we love Grace, and then we loved her so much, we decided to make another kid who has the same DNA. He's a boy, not a girl, but he has the same DNA. So I love her, and I love him, and that's what this is. This isn't someone doing a Munsters movie. This is a Munsters movie. So it's universal. It's the characters. It's the characters. It's what I'm saying is it has the same DNA as the main show.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's even the same studio making it. It's the same. It's even extraneous extra characters are the same. So there's no reason you can't love them both. Just like I love both my kids, I love one more.
And the Munsters is, a family as well.
Yeah, the Munsters is a family as well, and so what
I don't kids more. Sorry, the penny drops.
She ruined it. So no, I love them both the same.
For now.
Yeah, they should work a little harder at being the favorite. That's what I'm saying. But like I hope that people would go to this Munsters and that we could do more Munsters. And there's no reason we can't. And it's up to Rob Zombie. He's very busy. It's very, he's performing all summer. If you haven't gotten your tickets yet, you should get your tickets. It's going to be a great show. It's him and his brother are both performing. And, his band is terrific. So, it's playing all over the country. So go see it. Who knows what surprises will be on stage in a concert. I don't know. Like every time I go to a concert, it's really so well produced, so entertaining.
One time I went to a Rob Zombie show and he disappeared. Like he came out on front of the stage and all the lights in the entire arena went out for like 5 minutes, and then he just came out from the back and came in through the crowd with the intro song. That's pretty crazy.
Oh, so Frank is off camera. And he told us how Rob Zombie disappeared at a show that came through the back of the house, but he did not tell us in which order the actors played Frankenstein yet. I'm just putting that out there. Frank. I'll help you. Karloff, Lugosi, go.
Well, I know those two, but that's kind of where I lose it. Like, I'm not really familiar beyond that. I watched a bunch of them with Rob and random orders and random...
Yeah, that's the problem with it. Yeah, Rob's like, we'll watch them out of order because I've seen them all 48 times.
So we watched 3 Frankenstein movies in the wrong order. And, we watched the first one, Boris Karloff. And then we watched 2 more, but I can't remember it wasn't in order. It was like...
Well, this is now we know what you're doing next weekend.
Frankenstein.
Marathon.
As my dad says, Frankenstein, Wolf's the Meat Man.
Wolf's the Meat Man. Were you there when we did the great documentary? It wasn't, we did, we were going to talk about the spook shows, but, so we did that spook show. Gosh, that's already 18, 17 years ago.
Your Dr. Shocker
Dr.
show?
Shocker. And then later...
could you explain Dr. Shocker to people who aren't familiar?
I would love to explain Dr. Shocker. He's an idiot. No, he's literally an idiot. He's this spook show, this horror host guy, right? Who weirdly looks a little like me, so sometimes he's offended that people mistake him for me. He'd be lucky to be mistaken for me. Piece of crap. So he's a magician, and he had his own horror host show. Not really, I've never seen it. He's appeared in the documentary Halloween Happening Out of America. He's also appeared in Dr. Shocker's Vault of Horror. And he takes a couple swipes at me in these things. He's not a fan of mine. And I don't know why, because I don't hate him. I don't like him, but I don't hate him. Anyway, Dr. Shocker, people can look up the spook show we did at the Alex Film Society. It's Dr. Shocker's Halloween Spooktacular. It's on Vimeo, maybe you could, or on YouTube, you could maybe put links in.
Oh, yeah.
And then we did, and there's documentaries that we did. There's a lot of Dr. Shocker stuff out there.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be Dr. Shocker's Coloring Book of Horror.
Oh, nice. We
coming
have
out.
coloring book pages on Horror Fam.
Oh, you do?
Uh-huh. Yeah, our Heather Landry, the girl who did our logo, made all our mascot monsters in the coloring book pages.
Oh, so people can download them
Yeah.
and color them. Do you have a contest to have people send them in?
No, but we should.
That's what you should
a really
do.
good idea.
And then you give an award. Haven't you ever seen a horror show? You have the kids send the stuff in. Zachary Zachary, who was like one of the original horror hosts,
yeah, of course.
back in the 50s, said kids would literally send him spider webs. He'd open an envelope and he'd be like, oh, spider web. You know, thank you, Tommy, for your spider web. Anyway, yeah, you all should color those pictures and then send them in, and they'll have a contest, and they'll award you, you know, a personal phone call from me or Dr. Shocker. You can pick one. I mean, why you would pick Dr. Shocker, I don't know. He's very full of himself.
Oh, are you on Cameo, by the way? Because, like, one of our friends,
What?
you did a message for one of our friends who was having a baby to tell him don't name your kid something stupid. And
But we did that at your house.
Yes.
And did he name it something stupid?
No.
Good job.
Yeah, he listened to your advice, didn't name it a Star Wars name.
Good job.
And the baby has a nice, normal name.
Daniel?
No. I know.
Then it doesn't sound like a normal name. It's not some goofy name like Frank or something.
No.
I just want to be sure. I'm not on Cameo. People have. I guess I should go on Cameo.
Yeah, because when we did that video, he thought that it was a cameo.
Oh,
Yeah,
he did. That'll be
Yeah.
$75.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. I want that money. I'm gonna put it. So you know, I have this not-for-profit through which I make faith-based family movies. It's called channelofpeace.org. I'm not getting fresh, Frank. My arm just got tired down here. All right, don't look. Put the gun away. Hold on a second. Hey, this guy in here. Send in the security detail. I have an army. You know, so I've got a whole Air Force base out here. So you'll be watching yourself. Watch your P's and Q's. What the hell were we talking about?
You were talking about whether or not you were on Cameo.
No.
No.
Oh, but I should do it. He thought I was on Cameo.
Mm-hmm.
No, I wasn't on Cameo. I'm just a nice person.
Then you were talking about your nonprofit.
And then we're talking about my nonprofit.
Your nonprofit, yes.
I got your back.
Where
Hold
you-
on.
you do-
He's fine. A channelofpeace.org. A channelofpeace.org. Doesn't that sound nice? To be a channel of peace?
P-E-A-C-E.
Yeah, P-E-A-C. No, it's not like, it's not horror, pieces of flesh. Channelofpeace.org. Peace. Love and peace. And through it we make faith-based family movies. But you know, people who like horror movies would love these movies because they're good stories. But the first movie we made, not through a Channel of Peace, is Getting Grace.
Yeah.
Have you seen that yet?
No. I'm sorry.
I'm going to send you home with a Getting Grace.
Okay.
You get to go home with your own Getting Grace video. But see it. People should see it. It's on Amazon Prime. I mean, it's on Apple TV. You can get it anywhere. But it's why I think horror people would like it is because it's set in a funeral home.
Oh.
And it's about a girl who's dying, who's sick. She goes into a funeral home to find out what's going to happen after she dies.
Mm.
But she ends up teaching the funeral director how to celebrate life.
Oh.
Yeah. So
That's
it's a
nice.
life-affirming comedy set in a world of death and dying. And it's very sweet, and I invite all of your people to watch it. You know, you can find the DVD or just find it on Amazon Prime or Amazon or any of those places you can buy it.
And we've both dealt with loss, especially recently,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you were talking about how your faith-based movies would appeal to the horror fans as well, but what about horror can help people deal with grief, and what lessons can we learn from that?
Yeah, maybe you have a point of view on that. I don't have a point of view on that. look, I think if you're someone who loves movies, a well-made movie is just going to make you feel better, whether it's a horror movie or a thriller or a action movie. You know, if I'm having a melancholy day, which I don't actually have, honestly, I'm very happy. No, I'm a happy person. But every now and again, I get in a melancholy, and I'll say to my wife, Tammy, I'm just having a melancholy day. So on a day like that, I'll go in and I'll watch The Great Escape or Schindler's List. Or
My friend was in The Great Escape.
Oh, who?
Lawrence Montaigne.
In the original Great Escape?
Hayes. Where his German wasn't quite great, and he was in Captain Sinbad, and he's gone now, but...
Oh, yeah, because The Great Escape, I think the last surviving cast member is David McCallum.
Yeah, Lawrence Montaigne was, he was in the Escape to Witch Mountain.
Oh,
and,
I have to look him up.
The Batman episodes.
So he played one of the Germans?
No, he played, he played Hayes.
Oh, he played Hayes! Yeah, who gets caught because...
Yeah, his German isn't quite...
Yeah.
He's a little bit off.
He misspeaks it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's neat that you knew him. Yeah. But, so the point is, I watched that movie.
Like you're like my uncle and he was like my grandpa.
That's nice. So that movie, like, I'm just saying, it just makes me happy because it's a great movie.
Yeah.
Schindler's List is a great movie. I mean, it doesn't have to be, Jaws, a great movie. You watch a movie and it gives you happiness. So, I'll watch Bride of Frankenstein, or Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah.
So I don't, look, if someone's having a hard emotional time, if a horror movie reminds them of a better time, then that's great. And I just don't know how death and dying, we're in a weird part of, there's a tragedy happened 2 days ago. Even I'm making a joke about a gun, and it's not funny, with this terrible tragedy that happened. Something's happening, and I don't think it's that people are watching horror movies. I think nobody's parenting their children in the appropriate manner. And it's, we could say it's this factor or that factor or this factor, but there's something going on where parents don't know what their kids are up to. And you have to know what your kid is up to. Primarily, you have to know where your kid's head is. So anyway, I feel it's a shame. Horrible. And anyway, so I don't watch the news anymore. And when I watch...
I try to avoid it. Frank watches for me and tells me.
Yeah, he tells you how bad it is. Yeah. I don't want to know how bad it is. But then, so I don't really go for... I'm in them, but, I'm just admitting, like, movies where people just die for no reason, that's not entertaining to me.
You like...
I like a horror, a spooky,
well-developed horror stories and more in-depth character development and everything.
And I'm all right being, like in Rob Zombie, somebody wants me to get hatcheted to death, fine, whatever,
You've had some crazy death scenes and some, like, even on TV and stuff. You were in the Walking Dead webisodes and you were on Lost, of course. You
blew up. No, I've died.
Like an SCTV joke here.
I've died with the best of them. I think it'd be funny to add up how many, and why am I the guy they always kill? But the good news is sometimes I'm on a show and I am going to be killed, and then they go, "No, we're not going to kill you." Well, you know why that is? Because I come to the set and I know my lines and I'm respectful of everybody, and they think, why would we want to have this guy around again? He's funny. So, they rewrite the scene where I'm alive at the end of the show. And that's
another reason to be nice.
Yeah,
well, get to do more.
Yeah, if you needed a reason to be nice, if you're
advantageous to be nice.
Yeah, if you're someone who wakes up in the morning and goes, "Why should I be nice?" A, don't watch any more horror films, and B, go get professional help. I mean, honestly, it's so much easier to be nice.
You're a huge horror fan though, like.
But gothic, like if you could see around it. Like, I'm a horror fan, but the Munsters isn't about murder or mayhem. It's about a family that's goofy.
Yeah.
That's like, like, by the way, it's interesting because, people go, well, it's about a goofy family that's goofy, but they're normal. And I lived in, like, you look around my house, we were a wacky family. So I always thought, I didn't think the other people were the Munsters. I thought we were. I thought we were. But anyway, I collect the Gothic horror. Like, I don't consider.
And the Universal Monsters.
Yeah, the Universal Monsters, weren't about.
I think that.
Just,
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, it's not about like a crazy killer just killing people. It's about, it's about, playing God. About, what do you get if you want to live forever? It's about, it's a different kind of horror.
Who's your favorite Universal monster?
Well, when I was a kid, I would have said Wolfman, and I think that was mostly because if you got a Don Post Wolfman mask and hands, you're done. Like if you wanted to,
because you just need the pants and the shirt, and you're good to go.
But the thing that I was I was the Count, so I was a Dracula figure because I was also, you didn't need any mask to be the Count.
Yeah.
Do you know I was a clown in a circus, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was a vampire clown, right?
Yep.
Did I say that already?
No, you didn't say that.
But you know it.
Yeah.
So I was a vampire clown named the Count.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine when Rob Zombie calls and says, "You're gonna be," but in this script, when you read the script, you're the Count. Like, what?
Dream come true, right?
Dream come true. Anyway, we're talking about horror movies. Yeah, I don't know if horror movies. Maybe you do. I don't know. Could they be therapeutic?
Yeah.
If you watch Halloween.
It depends. I actually have an article on horrorfam.com that goes into the science of is horror good for you? And there's even like a little infographic that you can share with your friends.
Oh. And this is based on your own research?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Well, my own, like, I collected studies that were done.
Yeah, but that's your research.
Yeah.
That's your research.
I compiled everything
Yeah,
into
that's
one section.
Yeah, you went and you looked it up. So that's good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's good. Well, people then should refer to that.
But spoilers. The main thing is kind of what you were saying earlier, where if it's something you enjoy, then yes, it is good for you.
Yeah, I mean, killing people isn't good for you. But
No.
enjoying a good movie. I saw the trailer for Halloween, this latest one, and Rob Zombie's Halloween or Halloween 2 had a backstory, an element of storytelling, an element of characterization, and all that stuff that I really like. What did you say? The guy who doesn't know who played Frankenstein? What?
I just told her that I said that I was saying that exact same thing to her. I was like, I really liked Rob Zombie's Halloween movies because there was that big backstory and it showed.
Yeah, he put it in, but like this trailer for Halloween, I'm just talking about the trailer. Like he's like comes out of the house. The first thing he does is he stabs and kills like 4 firemen. All right, so I don't know how that's entertaining. Firemen who run into fires to save people. I don't want to see them get killed, really. And then cops get killed. I don't want to see cops get killed. I don't want to see anybody get killed. And it's just like flop through. And in the trailer, I mean, that's what they were like. Oh, isn't this great? He killed 14 people, and the trailer's not even over yet. And I just thought, ugh.
You just kind of become numb to it.
Yeah. Well, there's something else that happens if we could just talk about this for a second. Like, you watch a Marvel movie. I know this is horror fan. It's not about Marvel. And I'm just talking about my impression.
It's fine as long as it's related.
All right. What I'm relating is the technicality of film. Look,
my dad does that too, where he goes off on tangents, but it's like as long as they're somewhat related.
Well, I mean, anything your father says is interesting. So
it's true. Yeah, he was talking about the Energizer Bunny, and it's like, oh yes, indeed.
Mental note: don't ever get in that conversation with Rob. Well, I think he's really faster than Speedy Gonzalez. So, look, the World Trade Center happened, right? And it's horrible, and we know what it's like when 2 huge buildings go.
Yeah.
Everybody dies, gone.
Yeah.
And then we watch these Marvel movies, and these monsters are knocking buildings over, and they're like, oh, "Let's go get a shawarma." And I think, why don't we put in what you'd really hear? Help me, Iron Man! Please don't get a shawarma, Hulk, because I'm feeling my leg is separated. My child's dying. My child's dying, Captain America. Can't someone just come over here and give me a blood transfusion? But it's like, I don't buy that.
It's very dark.
So I don't want to see buildings fall and people like go, let's go get a shawarma. Anyway, we've really got off topic. You really have to keep your guests from doing that. I blame you completely for this.
I'm sorry. Well, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about? Like, anything else that you wanted to say? Or that
do you think we
should...
they could go to channelofpeace.org and look up how we make the movies. You might want to help us make these movies. There's ways to help.
And the Kickstarter?
No, Kickstarter for
Darkness?
Jungle of Darkness has just a few more days. That's Creature Kid. That's Creature Kid with 2 Ks. Or Adam Dougherty, Jungle of Darkness. You can find that on Instagram or, you can find links to it, I think, on my... Oh, you should say your social media. Yeah, I know I should. I just don't know it. I think I'm Mr. Daniel Roebuck.
He is.
Oh, I am. I'm Mr. Daniel Roebuck. So on
but he doesn't really use his Twitter much. I know. At all. But he is very, very active on Instagram.
Well, I've been trying to be better, and should I go on Twitter? Is that something I should do? Do you put the same thing on everything? Is that what you're supposed to do?
Well, I don't know. I think Instagram is kind of a good place for you because you're very visual.
Yeah.
Anyway, so.
And Twitter's mostly about what you say. I think we're in a weird situation. I think people think that everything they think or say or do is important. People want to be noticed and they want to be recognized and they want to be liked and they want to be liked and they want to be reposted. And my joke is, if being noticed is that important, do what I did. You damn yourself to a lifetime of poverty and become an actor. And then at least people will look at you on purpose. But no. So I try, it's hard too. I'm trying to make movies. I'm making movies. I'm doing something I can't wait till I can tell you about. I'm actually working on product. I'm starting to create product for movies. And that's all like Dr. Shocker's Coloring Book of Horror is a product that's going to come out where people can, experience what a jerk Dr. Shocker is and color some great pictures. So I don't want to hear from his lawyer. I'm just saying that right now. Don't send me another libel letter. I don't care. If I say Dr. Shocker's a jerk, he's a jerk. But you're not a jerk. You're very sweet.
Thank you.
I've loved watching you grow up. I'm very honored to have been asked to be on your show. I didn't have to go smoke, so that's why the show lasted a little longer. But I'm just grateful for you, and I'm grateful that you're in my life.
Me too.
Thank you. And then I can't wait to see what you do next.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Bye.
Well, that's it. Thank you. And by the way, Frank did not name the monsters in order.
He was just talking about Glenn Strange earlier today.
I know. So let's do it for him. Boris Karloff. Here's where we're going to leave. You're going to write it down. Yeah. Boris Karloff, then Bela Lugosi, then Lon Chaney Jr., then Glenn Strange.
Well, I knew the first two.
Oh, you knew the first two. That means you got a 40. You did not even get a 60.